Yep, I'm there. Slide. A very good afternoon to everybody, and very warm welcome to the 89th edition of the Global Weather and Climate Report. What a week it has been weather wise across the planet, and we will look at that in quite a bit of detail over the next 40 or 45 minutes or so. So, I'm going to, as per usual, spend the next 5, 10, 15 minutes at most looking at the live stream, give you a shout out, try and answer a couple of questions if you have any, and we'll take it from there. But I hope you're having a good weekend so far. Looks as if the drier theme, we're not minus rain completely, but the drier theme nonetheless is now starting to kick in, and hopefully that can maintain itself through the remainder of this month. And is it even possible that the month of May could be one of the drier months compared to average in the last 6 or so, even longer than that, months of rainfall? It's just been a deluge for the last several weeks and months. We're all fed up with the rain. We're wanting to see something a little bit drier, even if it is at the expense of colder than average conditions, because that is exactly what we've got at the moment. And I don't think we're looking particularly warm over the next wee while or so here. For the remainder of April, it looks as if we're going to lean on the cold side of things. So a very warm welcome to David Vogan from Kirkintilloch. Very cold morning here, sunny now and quite warm. I believe it was raining earlier because I happened to see the Rangers. I think Rangers scored within 5 or so minutes of the semi final of the Scottish Cup against Hearts, and it looked to me like the ground was wet on the track area surrounding the pitch. So it looks as if there has been rain down in the Central Belt. And if we actually look at the current visible satellite image, you can see here that we've got a curl of cloud here to the north and to the west. We've got higher pressure. In fact, the pressure here at the house was over 1,030 millibars. That's the first time I've seen pressure as high as that since January. Back in the early portions of January is the last time we've seen pressure in excess of 130 millibars. But very warm welcome to Ari E. Andrea Lowe, very warm welcome to you. Free Palestine was the first person this afternoon in the live chat, so a very warm welcome to you. Warm welcome to Paul James as well. Thanks very much, Paul, for tuning in this afternoon to the live stream. And yeah, my dad says Rangers still winning 1-0. I'll hold off slightly on the football chat because we aren't really here for a discussion about Rangers or football in general. But yeah. Um, so let me just see here. Paul says, afternoon, Mark. Cloudy, sunny intervals, 10 Celsius in Hampshire. So yeah, pretty cool stuff actually, James, for the south of England at this time of the year. You would expect to see the temperatures, I think, into at least the low teens. So a rather chilly feel. Adam Blunston has just joined us as well. Very warm welcome to Adam. Hi everyone, and hi Mark. What are you is your forecast for May? Well, that is the golden question, Adam, and I will be releasing the May outlook this upcoming work week. But I'm kind of leaning towards drier compared to what we've seen in recent times, anyway. Temperature wise, I'm not 100% sure because it depends. Even if we do have like kind of high pressure dominating the pattern, it depends on the position of the high. It will determine what type of air mass we get and what kind of weather conditions we get. Yeah, I understand only because you mentioned it. So yeah. No hassle. It's no problem. I just thought I'll try and cut the football chat as quick as possible, so it's not going to annoy or irritate anybody. Very warm welcome to Steffi Adcock as well. Thanks, Steffi, for joining us this afternoon. Hope you're having a good weekend and a good afternoon so far. The sun is kind of shining here, kind of coming and going a little bit with cloud cover. But this, like I say, is the current visible satellite image over the UK and Ireland. Very, very nice day across Ireland. As you can see, Northern Ireland is also looking like it's nice and sunny. We've got some high level clouds across parts of France. Uh, Largely clear skies over Spain and Portugal, as you can see. And then as you extend further south down into Morocco and Algeria, we've got an area of cloud cover crossing over the off the south of Spain into the north of Morocco and northwestern Algeria. The Canary Islands look as if it's largely sunny skies this afternoon. This is the current radar across the UK at the moment. And you can see there's that rain that I was talking about earlier moving through the Glasgow area, Central Belt. It now appears to be moving down through the southern uplands and into the north of England. So, so yeah, this was the temperatures this yesterday afternoon. In fact, across the European continent, and very very chilly conditions across Central Europe compared to what we had back about a week or so ago. In fact, it was this weekend, last weekend, and we had record breaking temperatures, upper 20s, low 30s. Now we're into the single figures for daytime maximums. These were the incidentally these were the minimum temperatures yesterday, or this morning, should I say, not yesterday. This morning, if I can blow this up just a little bit, it'll give people a better view of the temperatures. So rather chilly stuff up across Scandinavia, -20s. Up here in a small area across far northern portions of Scandinavia. A little bit of too much breeze in the atmosphere to allow a frost to develop across the UK and Ireland. As you can see here, looks as if there was a few patchy areas of frost, and coolest conditions was arguably across the south of the UK Midlands southwards. Some fairly chilly numbers across much of France, as you can see here, the Alpine region into eastern areas of the continent. Keep in mind the temperatures that we've seen this time last week. So this is quite a dramatic change. These are the current temperatures at the time of recording, and you can see here that we've got temperatures into the generally the mid 20s, low to mid 20s, a few high 20s in some places. You can see here temperatures very subdued across the Alpine region at the moment. Germany, Poland, Czech Republic. We've got temperatures stuck in low to mid single figures. Bearing in mind upper 20s, low 30s this day last week. So pretty remarkable actually. Big change overall. And incidentally, this is the upcoming 5 day period across the continent. And that is an impressive cold end to the month of April. Not as cold as 1981. It was actually Harry Hardrada that said that sure, it's going to be a cold end of the month, but not on par probably with 1981. So let's have a look and see. Donald Penman, a very good afternoon to yourself, Donald. I regard anything over 10 Celsius as mild. Anything below is cold. That's fair enough. It's all a matter of opinion, I suppose, when it comes to temperatures. Some hot places, would say that 30 Celsius isn't overly hot, and then some cold places, 20 Celsius would be considered warm. So it's all about your interpretation. It's all about whereabouts you're located. It determines your level of hot or cold, I suppose. But you notice here that the temperature normally continues to stay cold on average as we step out of April into the month of May, and then it looks as if the GFS ensemble is loosening that cold anomaly. Close to average, if you notice here, for the period between the 2nd and the 7th of May. The question really is, are we going to see a prolonged spell of dry conditions? That is going to be the big question, I think. Now, remember, this is a global weather report, so we're not going to hone in too much on this. We'll look at this in a little bit more detail in the European Outlook tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that subscribe button I am delighted to say that I've got a new feature that's going to be revealed here on Marv Hogan Weather on YouTube in the upcoming week. I'm not going to disclose exactly what it is, but I'm excited to bring you this, and it does not solely involve me. So that gives you a little bit of a hint. It's not just me that's going to be featuring in this new feature. So I'm pretty excited to bring you this because it is a little bit different, and all shall be revealed in the upcoming week. I don't know exactly what day it's going to be released, but I have recorded a video that will be the first episode, if you will, of this new feature. So stay tuned, and I do encourage you to stick around here in the channel because there is changes taking place. Obviously, now the live stream is as a regular Sunday afternoon feature, and this new feature is going to add to what I've already got here in the channel. European Outlook, by the way, I was actually looking back, and I'm pretty sure the European Outlook has been going for about between 10 and 12 years. So that's quite a long period of time. And obviously, in this day and age, you do try to keep things fresh, interesting, exciting. And I'm always striving to try and improve content here in the channel. So I think I'm doing that, hopefully. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the channel, you think of the content, are you enjoying it? This is a time of the year for a lot of people not really as interested because you're out of the winter season. Snow and cold is no longer really an issue for us. But you know, there's still plenty of weather going on. There's still plenty of things to look at when it comes to the weather, and that is certainly what I'm going to be doing in the coming days, weeks, and months to come. And during the course of the summer season, we will be looking at winter 2024-25. We've got, remember, a developing La Nina. What influence may that have? We've got very warm sea surface temperatures surrounding the UK. Now, remember, at this time last year, the Atlantic really significantly warmed up. Then we've seen persistent high pressure through May and particularly into June. Then we've seen a complete flip around from very dry and very warm to cool and wet. Now, still warmer than average June, July, and August, to the best of my knowledge. But we had a very different type of weather pattern during the second half of the summer compared to the first half of the summer. What are we going to see in 2024? That's going to be the question. Because the sea surface temperature anomalies are slightly different this year compared to last year, and that has to get taken into consideration as well. So we've got 16 viewers, concurrent viewers at the moment here on the live chat. So be sure to like the video. I do greatly encourage you to do that because it helps me out. It lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content, helps the algorithm of the channel as well, and then it kind of boosts your viewing potential on YouTube. So I do greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like button and also share with your friends and family and also subscribe to the channel as well. So like I said, there are lots of things going on at the moment. Hello to Joyce Fogan as well. Hi, Mark. Have a great holiday. Love, Mum. Like I said, I am going to be away this week, but I'm going to have a few videos pre-recorded so that you've got content while I'm sitting relaxing by the pool. I'm not trying to rub it in, but I'm looking forward to a little bit of a break, I must admit. It's been a busy time, and with working night shift and then doing the videos and various content, it's always good to have a little bit of a break. So Donald says, it will be interesting to see what sort of summer we have, warm or a washout. May might give an indication. Yeah, the month of May can quite often, Donald, be a good month in terms of indicator as to where we're going down the road. Soil moisture content, I think, has a role to play as well. We've got a lot of moisture in the ground at the moment. Sometimes some of the sun's energy then goes into evaporation as opposed to heating. Dry ground, you've got less moisture, therefore a lot of the sun's energy goes into directly heating up the atmosphere. And when you've got a lot of moisture in the ground, some of that energy can be taken up through evaporation. The warmer than average sea surface temperatures makes me think anyway that it's going to be a warmer than average summer. I think May. Really don't know temperature wise. Like I say, I'm leaning towards drier than average for the month of May. But temperature wise, like I say, it depends on high pressure and whereabouts it sets up. If we get an area of low pressure, especially slightly to the west of the UK and Ireland, you've got that southerly airflow, and therefore you have a warmer than average temperature usually with this type of setup here. Steffi Adcock says, I like the content, Mark, because it's not just a forecast, but a look at what is going on around the globe. It keeps the interest up for me. Well, thank you very much, Steffi. I certainly do try my best to keep things as fresh. Trying to give you unique content, unhyped, unbiased content. Now, obviously, I have my own personal thoughts about stuff, but I try to kind of see it from everybody's perspective. You know, the climate stuff, whether it's carbon dioxide that's driving the warming, we know that the Earth's warming, but exactly what is the cause, water vapor, etc., etc. And I try my best to have it as light-hearted and as level-headed as possible, so that we don't get carried away. Because I think in the chaos of social media and mainstream media, there is a lot of bias towards one particular angle and whatnot. This channel tries to kind of, in a sense, sit on the fence, I suppose, a little bit when it comes to certain things here. So, yeah, trying to see if there's anybody else that wants to make any comments before I rattle on with some of the charts, because Dubai has seen some remarkable weather in the last week or so. We've had the big volcanic eruption that's went off in Sulawesi region of northern Indonesia, and we've had a big dramatic temperature change between abnormally, if not record breaking warm, to abnormally cold, if not record breaking cold across the continent of Europe. The incoming solar radiation initially heats the ground, but if the ground area is moist or wet, then the heat will generate more evaporation, and this cools the ground via uh, endothermic change. Is that? I think that's the right pronunciation. Thanks very much, Steffi, for that, for your input. It is always greatly appreciated. So, if you can hit the like button, that would be greatly appreciated. I know I keep harping on about that, but it certainly does help, and it shows support to myself. So, this is the CDAS temperature anomaly chart for the last 3 days, because the reason why I've picked the 3 day period here is because it gives you a pretty good clear standing as to exactly what is going on kind of roughly at the moment in terms of the temperature anomaly chart here. Australia has had one of the coldest first 2 weeks of April, I believe, on record, which is quite interesting. So yeah, very, very cool conditions across Australia at the moment. Is there anybody viewing today's live stream from out with the UK, Ireland, the European continent, and elsewhere? Let me know in the live chat below where you're viewing today's video from. I would be interested to hear that. Look at the bullseye of warmth over Central Asia here. We've got an area of cold and average extending out of northwestern India through Pakistan into the Middle East, including northern Oman, the United Arab Emirates. And we know why that's the case, because we've actually had, I'm going to show you this in just a second, the reason why Dubai seen the tremendous rainfall, the extreme historic rainfall event during the past week. We're going to have a look at that. I'm going to touch on it. I'm not an expert by any stretch, but I'll give you my opinion anyway. And it all extends back to the stratospheric warming that took place away back at the early portions of March. Believe it or not, and I did see this in one particular tweet, and I think it's got merit, about the drip effect from stratosphere into the troposphere, and it's been dictating the 500 millibar pattern. We've got cut-off areas of low pressure riding a southern branch jet stream further south than typically would be expected. Now, you can get heavy rainfall events in the Middle East, the Arabian Peninsula, the Dubai area, for example, southern Iran, but it has to be a certain type of pattern that delivers that. We've had like kind of bowling ball effect areas of low pressure, cold anomalous troughs that have been running through the desert region, dumping tremendous amounts of rain. I think that feature that dropped the heavy rainfall in Dubai was actually originated in the Mediterranean, possibly a Medicaid, I think, and then it's went eastwards into the Middle East region. So the weather is always very, very fascinating stuff when it comes to how it happens, and that's one of the reasons why this channel is in existence as well, because I try to show you exactly how the weather is doing certain things. So Ari says he is watching from Reykjavik, where it's sunny and 8 Celsius. Very warm welcome to you, Ari. Thanks very much for letting me know that you're enjoying the content from Reykjavik, Iceland. Beautiful part of the world. I did have the pleasure of briefly stopping off at the Blue Lagoon back in 2004 with my mum when we took a trip to Minneapolis. That's actually 20 years ago this year. Actually remarkable. Don't know where the time goes. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm kind of slightly digressing. Let's look at Europe for the last 3 days. And boy, oh boy, what a difference compared to last week and beyond. These are the temperature anomalies across the continent for the last 3 days. Let's have a look and see what the month overall is looking like. So we're starting to lose the very dark orangey red colors that we've seen back last week. We had these dark reds. That those reds are starting to ease off because of the cold anomaly that we've got going at the moment here. You can see here average conditions up across the far north of the UK. So north of the central belt, we've actually got average temperatures. Scandinavia, cold than average, but then when you get south of Scandinavia, you've generally got warmer than average conditions. So so yeah, we'll continue with 28 concurrent viewers at the moment. A very warm welcome to you. Thanks for joining me on today's live stream. There will not be a live stream next week because I'm on holiday, but I hope to have another live stream the following Sunday. So there is going to be a little bit of a change this upcoming week. I'm going to release the new feature, as I've already said, but also there will be a few days where there will be no video. I can't unfortunately do videos for every day that I'm away, because I'm determined to kind of take the time to chill out a little bit, spend a little bit of quality time with my wife as well, which she deserves because she has to put up with a lot, spend a lot of time doing these videos. I'm obviously away working at night time as well, so she deserves a little bit of quality time as well, I think, and I'm sure you will appreciate that. So let's look at the global temperature anomaly for the month of April thus far. So it's obviously the 20th of, or 21st of April, should I say, and you can see here that we've got a standout colder than average across Australia. This could be one of the colder Aprils on record for Australia. Look at the majority of the Eurasian continent is warmer than average. Standout areas are Western China, parts of the Central Asian region, kind of Iran, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, etc., etc. Once you get east of the Caspian Sea, it looks as if we've got some areas of colder than average conditions here. The Arabian Peninsula, for example, Equatorial Africa, and Sub-Saharan Africa, a little bit. Some areas of colder than average at the moment here, but North America, the majority of North America is running warmer than average. A very warm welcome to Gavin Partridge. Thank you very much, Gavin, for tuning in this afternoon. Lindsay and I are actually going out for a meal this evening at 6 o'clock, but I will try my best to at least say a hello to your live stream. Do check out Gavin. He has released, I don't know what number it is, but he has released his summer update today. So I do encourage you to view that video. Tremendous work Team Gav does on his channel at Gav's Weather Vids. So I do greatly encourage you to hit that subscribe button on Gavin's channel. So thanks, Gavin, for tuning in this afternoon. I hope you're having a good day, my friend. And yeah, so that's the 2 meter temperature anomalies for the month of April so far. Let's now have a look and see what is going on at the moment in terms of extremes around the planet at this moment in time. So we'll go on to my Twitter page. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter um, to keep up with regular updates, whether it be local or global weather updates. So yeah, let's talk about the Dubai floods during the course of the week here. So within a 24-hour period. Now, the numbers are kind of slightly varying, and there's been updates and whatnot, but this tweet here by John Erdman of the Weather Channel says that 119 or 4.69 inches of rain fell in the past 24 hours. That's about a year and a half worth of rain fallen within a single 24-hour period. So pretty amazing stuff, actually, when you think about that. And this was an amazing video that was captured here of literally running through the waters at Dubai massive pump that is just an amazing place. I don't know whether you've been to Dubai airport, but an incredible place to view planes and just simply to travel around. I think it's an amazing place. I've had the privilege of being there a couple of times now, and this is another view here of the floods in the Dubai area. Obviously, surrounding areas hard. I think Oman was hit pretty bad as well. But incredible scenes indeed out of the Dubai area during the course of this week. This is a satellite image, by the way, showing the difference before and after. You can see the kind of pooling of the water within the Dubai area. So incredible stuff, actually. Incredible scenes coming out of this region here. This is another tweet here.
Some bad storms in the past, but this was like nothing else. It was like an alien invasion. The sky just kept on flashing thunder, non-stop, almost non-stop. I've never seen so much rain in all my life.
So yeah, some personal accounts of their experience of the incredible rains in Dubai. This is an amazing video, by the way. Check this out here.
So much lightning is happening.
By AccuWeather, and just constant flashes of lightning. Very, very energetic atmosphere as that cold storm barrels its way through the area, dropping in half. Even 2 years worth of rain within a couple of days in this area. So pretty amazing stuff, actually.
That is not a time lapse.
And this is another video here of within a plane looking out over the tarmac. 9 times out of 10 it's either hazy, it's dusty. I've seen fog at Dubai airport when it's been at 32 degrees in the middle of the night, but also blazing sunshine. A very, very different story during the course of the week just gone. Like I say, thunderstorms and rain events are not really that unusual in Dubai, but the level of rain, the extremity of that event is historic. And moving on to Mount Ruang in the Sulawesi area of northern Indonesia. This was the eruption during the course of this past week as well. Lots of flashes of lightning. Don't know exactly the scientific explanation of that, but I've got a rough idea, and I'm not going to try and guess and try and tell you something. 100% what I'm talking about. Incredible lightning displays, incredible views, scary scenes actually, and I think this was the biggest eruption, if I'm right in saying, in the last decade in the Indonesia region. So pretty amazing stuff actually. This is a very, very short explanation.
Level to its highest point after the domes. A volcano erupted several times in Indonesia's outermost region Wednesday, with authorities raising the alert level to its highest point after the dome spewed a column of smoke more than a mile into the sky and forced hundreds to evacuate. Mount Ruang, a stratovolcano in North Sulawesi province, first erupted at 9:45 p.m. on Tuesday and 4 times throughout Wednesday. The alert level for the volcano, which has a peak of 725 meters above sea level, was then raised on Wednesday evening from 3 to 4, the highest possible level in the 4-tiered system. There were no reports of deaths or injuries, but more than 800 people were evacuated from 2 Ruang Island villages. Locals have been warned to be on alert for the potential ejection of rocks, hot cloud discharges, and tsunami caused by the collapse of the volcano's body into the sea. Indonesia sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc where tectonic plates collide that stretches from Japan through Southeast Asia and across the Pacific Basin. Don't forget to like, share, and follow.
So that was a very, very short 60-second explanation, roughly. And this was a tweet here by Marietta. So just thought I would share that with you, just to give you that rough explanation. This is another interesting view here, a kind of infrared satellite image here of that eruption, and then within the loop it actually shows you the lightning flashes as that eruption took place. So incredible release of energy, and I believe that there's three islands all within the same that vicinity of Mount Ruang, and there's a concern that there's an underwater large caldera that is kind of sitting lurking underneath the surface, and this is the concern that we have. We've seen that with the Tonga Hunger volcanic eruption, even the eruption that or the earthquake that took place in 2004. These underwater earthquakes that trigger tsunamis, etc., just incredible and dangerous things that are going on. So yeah, bouncing back and forth as I often do. A very warm welcome to Richard Trott. I know he's probably watching the Manchester United game. It's half time, so thanks, Richard, for checking out today's live stream, my friend. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the second half. I hope it is a good result for you. 10 Babies Car has joined as well. So very, very warm welcome to yourself. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, so it'll be interesting to see actually with I don't know whether the ash cloud and the material has been able to you know, reach the high levels within the upper troposphere into the stratosphere. I don't know if there's been that influence or not. Again, I'm not going to try and tell you something when I don't know fully what I'm talking about. But
A
nonetheless,
volcano
very
erupted.
interesting stuff going on. This is an interesting image here capturing high concentrations of sulfur dioxide from the eruption of Mount Ruang. So within the atmosphere, and there has been planes that have had to reroute, obviously, away from this region of the world because of the eruption. So busy times happening. There's always stuff going on, whether it's volcanoes, earthquakes, or weather extremes, and that is something here in the channel that I continue to try and show you all as to what's going on at the moment here. This was an interesting tweet here, by the way, by Mika Rantanen, saying that a very rare ice day took place. Now, this was about a week after they had one of the earliest 20 Celsius days on record for the Helsinki area. Now they're talking about a week later, unusual ice days. What is an ice day? It's a day where the temperature does not exceed 0 Celsius. Bear in mind the amount of daylight now that we've got, especially at these latitudes now, where you've got, you know, what, 20, close to 20 hours of daylight, especially as you move into the month of May and June. You've got 24 hours of daylight to the north of the Arctic Circle. But long days, short nights. Despite that, the temperature has stayed below the freezing mark, and I believe Helsinki managed to scrape just above at 0.4 Celsius above the freezing mark. But that's an incredible daytime maximum for this late in April. And like I said, it was only a week or so ago that they were recording the opposite. They were recording one of the earliest 20 Celsius days. So I'm going to try and skip through and see what else is going on. This, by the way, this here is what I was exactly talking about. I want to show you this. This is the pattern that delivered those rains in Dubai. So you've got the jet at the moment. It has been south displaced, whether it be the stratospheric warming, the Manjulian oscillation. We've had blocking to the north. The jet has been coming up from a southwesterly direction across Europe in recent weeks and months, but we've actually got a northwesterly jet at the moment, hence why we're colder, yeah, as you can see here. But look at this here, the southern branch of the jet moving right across northern Africa through the Middle East, and one area of low pressure that exited the Mediterranean basin moved across the Arabian Peninsula, Iraq, and then into the Dubai area and dumped all that heavy rainfall. One even 2 years worth of rain within a 24-hour period. So pretty incredible stuff actually going on at the moment here. And I know Lisa busy at the moment. She's not. I don't think she's about this afternoon. But she was asking me a couple of questions with regards to explaining the stratosphere and explaining what the sudden stratospheric warming is. So let me know in the comments section below whether you want maybe a few talking points discussed here on the channel, whether it be a recorded video or whether it be the live stream. I'm going to try and look through the live chat. If you've got any topics that you would like to see discussed, that is something that I will try and do in the coming weeks to come as well. So I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate constructive criticism as well. If I'm incorrect with stuff, I would rather be told that something isn't correct as well. So I always try and to provide you with accurate information here in the channel as well. That is another important aspect that I think is missing a lot now in society because there's a lot of fake news and whatnot going on. Interesting stuff here by Thierry Goose, based in Vancouver, Canada. He says remarkable low maximum temperatures in Saskatchewan. So as we're seeing in Scandinavia, we're also seeing unusually cold days. -3.2 at Regina in Saskatchewan is the lowest temperature maximum for so late in the season since 1966. Bear in mind it has been one of the warmest winters on record in Canada, the United States, and North America as a whole. So weird and wonderful things going on at the moment here. You've got the increased blocking quite often in these springtime periods, especially with final stratospheric warmings or stratospheric warmings in general. That tends to block the pattern. We start to have higher pressure that builds to the north, forces the jet to the south, areas of low pressure to the south, and you've got this kind of backed up type of atmosphere that goes on. So just trying to see, there's still 23 concurrent viewers at the moment. Be sure to smash that like button. It would greatly be appreciated here. Another interesting tweet here out of Japan. A 2-month rainfall total, very wet across the country except for part of Hokkaido, which is in the far north of Japan. It's a classic El Nino pattern, winter into spring, though Nino's quickly subsiding. As we know, El Nino is on its way out, and we're going to be seeing the developing La Nina. Speaking of that, the NMME model here indicates that we have got La Nina conditions as we move into the April through June period. So late spring into early summer. This is the model's prediction of the sea surface temperature anomalies. And we've got that very warm tropical Atlantic. Like I've said before, I'm going to release Vogan's 2024 Atlantic season hurricane forecast this week, possibly on Tuesday, along with the May outlook. So do check that out and stay tuned for that on markvoganweather.com on the website. And I will discuss that on the videos as well. But you can see here as we play through the animation, this is the June through August period. We've got a pretty robust looking La Nina. So we've flipped from a strong El Nino to a strong La Nina, and then that continues to mature as we move into the autumn and finally into the early portions of winter. So it'll be interesting to see what atmospheric results this has as those temperatures start to really cool off. Widespread sinking air probably over the central and eastern Pacific. It looks as if we're going to have more upward motion Africa into the western Indian Ocean basin as well. That is going to help increase the monsoon over Africa, the African easterly jet, the wave productions, the Genesis region over the Ethiopian highlands. Looks as if it's more conducive for tropical wave production. That then gets forced westwards across the African continent in over the very warm Atlantic basin here. And with the La Nina, you tend to have reduced wind shear, which is strong westerly winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That tends to be stronger with El Nino. When you've got a La Nina, you've got reduced wind shear, but with the very warm Atlantic, I think the atmosphere and ocean is primed for a big season this year. So I'm going to come up with my forecast. That will be released in the next couple of days, as I said already here. So very interesting things going on at this moment in time. So let me see and have a look and see if there's anything else that I can show you here before we kind of shut down here. This was the swing. So this is what I'm talking about, by the way. So this was the past 7 days. This was a tweet that I put out back on the 19th. So this was a couple of days ago, and that was the past 7 days over Europe. And then this is the upcoming 7 days. So what a flip around from summer to winter, upper 20s, low 30s, to snow and temperatures struggling to get above the zero mark here. So very, very impressive stuff going on across the continent of Europe at this moment in time. And obviously, these are the rainfall records that we've seen released by the Met Office here. 194 millimeters of rain falling at Shap in Cumbria. Would like to see what these figures would be against the average, but nonetheless, very, very significant amounts of rain. Even down at Glasgow, Bishopton, this has been the wettest April on record. And what's most interesting about this is it's only through the first 12 days, so not even the first half of April, and we've seen the wettest April on record for these stations, which is pretty amazing stuff actually when you think about that. This fall comes in the back of a very, very wet March also. So I'm trying to see if there is anything else. Interesting tweet here by our friend Shrine Bruin in Dublin. He says that the UK is yet to see 25 Celsius, which is not unusual. With the 1991 to 2020 average, the first date for 25 Celsius or above is actually May 6th, but with a lot of year variation. The past 3 years has been significantly later than average for the first 25, but the prior 4 years had been significantly earlier than average. So isn't it weird and wonderful how the weather works? Sometimes you've got a series of years with a certain type of situation, i.e., cold spells during particularly April has been quite a common thing, I think, in recent years. But this has fallen into a bit of a different type of situation. I'm pretty sure before this April, 4 out of the past 5 Aprils were drier than average. I don't know exactly the figures, so don't quote me on that. But this April is a completely different story. Obviously, we're going from a very wet start to April to probably a drier second half of April, and then that leads us into what's going to come next here. So yeah, I think we're pretty much covered in terms of what we've seen in the last week or so weather-wise here. So drop a comment, let me know if you've enjoyed today's live stream here. This is another video here by Christian from this is the video coming out of
Everywhere you
in Austria.
go,
And remember, this was the up and 20s.
take a look
2
at the
days ago,
five.
this was the same
It's begin.
at Austria in Salzburg. Some pretty amazing stuff actually going on. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's been anything else. Some nice views of the Aurora Borealis. We had the tornado obviously in 2 locations, one outside the Stoke-on-Trent and the other in the Nottingham area, I think. So pretty wild stuff to start the work week in the UK here. So I think that's about it really. That is now 44 minutes past 5. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's content. Like I said, there's going to be a few things different this upcoming week with a new feature that all will be revealed later in the week, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you next time with more. Bye for now.